This is Nameless Student. Nameless Student likes music, and they probably messed around in Ableton. A pirated version of Ableton. But now they're faced with a big decision. Whether to go to college, and what to study. Accounting, medicine, nursing, law. Having liked making music, they decide to look into studying music production. Or audio production, music technology, music and performance and instrument and audio, mixing and mastering and production and preparatory technology, so on and stuff. For the sake of easiness, I think we should just refer to this as music production. This was me. I was Nameless Student. 7 years ago, I decided to go to college and enroll in a music production program. I completed the 4 years of the course, did some mixing work, did a few EPs, actually a lot of EPs. I should probably work on an album at some point. And then I started a master's in education science and ended up teaching a few modules in the music production course. So I feel I have a pretty good insight into the student and staff roles of music production education. We're going to move to camera now because this animation stuff is time consuming and difficult when you can't draw. So I've broken my thoughts down into 3 categories. Why you should go, why you shouldn't, and if you decide to go, what you should look out for. Reasons you should go. You might just need a degree. So I know this seems like a really basic answer right off the bat, but a lot of jobs here in Ireland anyway just require that you have a degree for the sake of it. Like, you want to do this job? Oh, you need a degree. Oh, my degree is in, I don't know, bottle design. If you have the skills and knowledge and interest and all you need is the degree, then go do it, you know? You might need a degree specifically for music production. So whether it's for health and safety or just insurance reasons, some companies and venues just require that you have certification in the skills needed to do a live event. A degree kinda ticks all those boxes. However, degrees are expensive and take time as opposed to specific training. Here we have StagePass, which is like a 2-day training event. 2 days is significantly less time than 4 years. You might just want to experience college. When you look at academic writings on going to college, they typically fall into 2 categories. Getting skills that will benefit you for employment and getting self-determination skills and self-fulfillment and the social aspect of college. So this social aspect can be nights out, it can be going to gigs, it can be performing with friends you make on the course, it can be societies, it can be just moving out. Also, the social aspect of college can help you find people to collaborate with. Let's say you make hip-hop beats. Chances are you're going to find someone who wants to rap over those beats on your course. Let's say you play guitar, someone probably plays drums, someone probably plays bass. You have a band. There's so much opportunity for collaboration in college. So if this is something that you want and you can afford it in terms of money and time being probably the biggest of the 2 there, because 4 years is a lot. Well, also the money's quite a big one if you live in America. But if you just want the college experience and have an interest in music production anyway, then go for it. And finally, the most obvious reason is you might just want to learn music production. I kind of talk about this choice as if you already have knowledge in music production, and you don't have to. Ab initio is the technical term for this, but my first day wasn't here's a DAW, go and make a song. It was, this is a computer, this is a DAW, this is a microphone, this is how you wrap a cable. It's all taken from the very basics. You might just have an interest in music production and have never messed around with anything. You wouldn't expect someone who's about to go and study medicine to have performed a few operations before enrolling as a student. So you're going to learn all the skills that you need to produce a track. So that includes the music theory to actually write the track. It includes the knowledge of where to put your microphones to get the best sound, what microphones to choose to get the best sound, how to run all of your cables through fancy outboard gear and then back into your computer, how to mix all that once it's in the computer, how to master that then after it's been mixed. It will take you through all of those steps and you'll become quite proficient at all of those steps along the way. While your course might be called music production, you're most likely going to cover some sort of live sound engineering. You're going to cover some sort of electronics, be that just repairing cables or making your own guitar pedals with kits and that kind of stuff. And your lecturers or professors, instructors or tutors or teachers or whatever probably worked in the industry and will have little inside tips they can tell you. Another big reason is that you can try out equipment. You can loan equipment. You can, if you want to use a fancy microphone for some of your own tracks, you can just borrow the studio spaces. You can rent out a microphone. You can even just try out DAWs in class before you commit to buying a DAW. Reasons not to go. You can teach yourself, realistically. This isn't just YouTube videos. There's like LinkedIn Learning courses, other open universities like Udemy, and even just creators. LNA's audio stuff is brilliant for Ableton specifically, but also everything else music as well, where she'll break down individual effects and explain everything very, very well. Now, this is just assuming that you want to produce music in a quite a basic sense. If you want to learn live sound engineering, there's not really any tools out there. Another reason to teach yourself is that most music courses only will teach you one or two specific DAWs. Now, while the approaches that you learn can be applied to other DAWs, like you can learn about how to use EQ. You don't necessarily learn how to EQ in Pro Tools, but the keyboard shortcuts and the workarounds and kind of workflow of specific DAWs, you'll typically only learn one or two. I suppose the advantage is you get to like fully try it out at the college. So if you like decide after 4 years, I hate Pro Tools, so that's great, because you haven't bought a license for Pro Tools. And you'll probably only learn their specific studios too. That's not that big of a deal realistically, because if you were to start a job as like an assistant recording engineer, you'll probably be shown the ropes by a senior engineer. But it's just something to keep in mind that like you're not going to come out of your 4-year degree, you know, ready to be dropped into a random recording studio anywhere in the world. Another reason not to go is the college is expensive. Like, and I don't just mean the tuition fees. In Ireland, we have a pretty bad like rent crisis at the minute, and student accommodation I lived in from my first year of college has doubled in the past 7 years. And not only are you spending this money on college, you're also not spending it on equipment and gear. If you're paying €4,000 a year in rent for a 4-year degree, that is €16,000. That will buy you a very competent computer, some pretty decent studio monitors, a whole bunch of microphones. But basically that €16,000 would probably go a long way to benefiting you for music production than the 4 years. What should you look out for? Location is the first one, because think, you're probably going to be coming home for Christmas and you're probably going to be coming home for summer. So that's 2 times a year you're going to be having to commute. And you don't really want that commute to be too long. But also consider where the music hubs in your country are. All countries have music hubs. If you think of America, you think of Nashville. Ireland, probably Galway, if I'm honest. Limerick has a bit of a music scene, but it's, yeah. These hubs will help you network and create opportunities where you can collaborate with other local artists that maybe aren't even doing your course. Also, with more and more courses offering work experience, if your music tech course, or music production course rather, is in the middle of nowhere, you don't want to be commuting every day of your work experience. So we had location. Another thing to consider is that open days and prospectuses and websites and leaflets and social media lie quite blatantly. But what you're seeing on open days, what you're seeing on websites and on social media and leaflets is just very cherry-picked bits of information with staged photos and probably even staged videos. Something I'd highly recommend for anyone considering any course is to have a look on LinkedIn for people who have either graduated from the course or were enrolled or are still enrolled as students in this course, and ask them if they're up for a call on Discord, on Zoom or whatever, just to see what they think about the course. I'm not saying don't go to the open days. An open day is a great chance to get to know the actual building of the college. So let's say you fully decided on going to this music production course. Going to the open day can help you see, okay, what's parking like here? Am I going to be able to drive and park my car? No, will I have to commute? Is there a bus stop nearby? All that kind of stuff. Another thing might be to ring the college or email and ask if you can get a private tour of sorts. I've seen these happen a few bits in different programs, where you'll most likely meet a lecturer or instructor or tutor or professor of one of the modules on the music production course, and they'll show you all the facilities. They might show you what students are doing in that class at that moment in time as well, if you walk in on a class. So colleges have a really high budget, and I talked about this before, when an advantage is you get to try stuff out on their equipment. But if your goal as a music producer is to get into perhaps doing film score, then learning how to make electronic music in FL Studio probably isn't great for you. Maybe you'd be better suited for learning orchestration and Logic at some other course. Also consider that are there facilities there for you to work on your assignments in your own time. So you'll probably have time in classes to work on some assignments and projects, but make sure that you have access outside of class time, or that the software you would need to use or the appliances and the equipment that you would need to use, you can get a hold of elsewhere. Be that some music production software that fell off the back of a van online, or with a good student rate or anything like that. There's no point paying a lot in tuition fees just to learn how to use GarageBand. So I suppose in conclusion, I know I haven't really offered a definitive yes or a definitive no, and that's kind of my point. I don't want to skew anyone too much. I just want to offer what I would have liked. I want to offer information that I would have liked 7 years ago. If you like this video, please give it a like, that helps a lot. And I'm trying to do a video about every week of 2023. So if you want to see those, give us a subscribe. Yeah, cheers.